Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm in exactly the same place as I was last week. The only difference is there isn't that dramatic intro. And the reason for that, it's been an absolute pleasure to drive in. It's been glorious sunshine. We've had a little bit of rain, but certainly nothing that I experienced last week. And yeah, I've come back to this forest area. And what I want to do is explore the other side of the river. So I'm going to sort of take the same route. I've actually driven in a little bit further. I've not brought the bike, which I said I wasn't going to do last time. Parked the car, and I've just come for a little bit of a walk near the car park, and then I'm going to head up towards where the main feature is. And I've done a little bit of research this time, and yeah, hopefully I should have something quite nice for you guys. So I'm just taking a quick shot now, just upstream. I might even shoot behind as well, because there seems to be quite a lot of white water there. So yeah, I'm just shooting upstream, just getting the first one in the bag. And I recommend to everybody who's starting out in photography, as soon as you get out of the car, just fire a shot off. That'll be the first one in the bag. It doesn't really matter if it's composed right, it just sort of gets you in the mood, and it gets you, yeah, sort of thinking photography wise. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm just sort of taking the first shot. And the beauty with this place, as I mentioned last week, you don't really have to think about the images you're taking. There are so many compositions here. I don't think you could fail to get a decent composition. So yeah, it's just a great location. So what I'm doing, shooting up here, shooting onto the water. I've got some lovely rocks in the foreground, and then the water sweeping through. So yeah, I'll show that first image now. As I've mentioned, because it's so beautiful around here, you don't really have to work on a composition. You don't have to go hunting that hard for it. So the theme of today is really just keeping it simple. And I've kept that simple with the gear. I've brought the faithful Nikon D850 out, and I've just brought the 24-70 lens out. The only filter I've brought is the polarizing filter, which you need if you shoot in water. Don't bother coming to places like this if you haven't got a polarizing filter. Even if it's just a cheap one, it's just to take that glare of the water, slow the shutter speed down just enough to get it slightly above a second long exposure, and yeah, it's worth its weight in gold. So simple, 24-70, Nikon D850 and polarizing filter and the tripod. That's about it. So quite simple. I'm going to spin the camera around and just work on a shot downstream as well. So for this shot, I've just lowered the tripod down a little bit. I wasn't too happy. There's quite a bit of glare on the water, even with the polarizer on. So just before you get to the white water, before the water starts crashing along the rocks, yeah, there was just too much of a reflection, or the sun shining through on it. So I've moved the camera around a little bit. Just got the riverbank here, and a nice little path leading round, and that kind of leads you on to where the white water is, and then onto the rocks. So I'm focusing onto the rocks in the distance, or sort of into the mid of the image, and yeah, just focusing onto there. I've got it set at f14. Well, it's just around about a second exposure, ISO 64. To say around about a second exposure, because I'm bracketing each of these shots. You can probably tell the sun's in and out constantly today, so you never really know. So I always, whenever I come to locations like this, where you shoot in bright white water with sun coming through the trees, and then the darkness of the forest as well, the natural darkness, yeah, it's always better to bracket the shots. A lot of times you get away without using the bracketing, but I think it's always better to have it than not at all. I've got plenty of memory card, I've got plenty of shots to be had, so I'd rather make sure I've got the shot in the bag than go home and think, oh, the highlights are blown out or the shadows are too dark. So yeah, I'm just making sure I bracket it, not to be clever, it's just the way I do it. And I think 3 shots really isn't that much when, yeah, you could be at risk of losing one. But yeah, this place is so beautiful, it's just gorgeous. Like I say, I've hardly walked 100 yards from the car. In fact, I can see the car in the distance, and yeah, already I've taken what, 2-3 shots here. Oh, it's stunning. So I was just about to head onto the main path, and I just spotted this as well. A little bit of a sort of feature. I've got some bubbles in the front of the image, which round about second and a half long exposure just gives a little bit of movement on those. Bit of fast moving water, sort of halfway through the image, and then looking onto the trees. So yeah, I'll show that image in a minute, and then I'll head on. I promise. So on the last vlog I did from here, it featured towards the end was a stone structure on the other side of the river. So this path hopefully should take me to there, so I can sort of explore that a little bit more. And yeah, it's just great seeing it from the other side as well. It's so beautiful around here. I just can't get over how stunning this location is. And when I say there is no wrong composition, I think you'd be hard pushed as a photographer to actually get something wrong around here. I mean, just look at that down there. It's powerful and stunning. Now, I appreciate we've had a lot of rain. I'll try that again. I appreciate we've had a lot of rain recently, so yeah, the water is at quite a fast level. But yeah, it's, even without the river here, it's just absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. Made up. I also need you to remind me at the end of this vlog to let you know what's happening over the next couple of weeks. Something quite exciting for the channel, so we'll go into that at the end.
We'll whistle New Dixie.
So I've ditched the coat because it's getting a little bit too warm. When that sun's out, it really makes everything feel just a little bit muggy and a little bit yeah, sweaty. So coat's in the back, and it's nice. Even when you think well, today's the 25th of September. Driving in here, it's saying 22 degrees. So yeah, beautiful weather to be out in, and oh, beautiful weather, beautiful location. Doing photography, bringing you guys, doing video. Doesn't get better than this at all. So just across the water now is where I was. Sorry, a bit of a steep hill there. So just across the water is where I was last week when I decided I was going to come back here today. So yeah, here I am. And yeah, around here there should be the found it, the little stone building, or the remains of a stone building that were here. I couldn't really feature in any of the shots, just the way it's far too covered and stuff, and it's going to be difficult to get around. But I'll spin you around and show you now. Well, I've got to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought there would be much more from this side, but clearly there's not. It looks a lot better condition from the other side of the water, but yeah, on this side, when you get up close, no, it's in a bit of disarray. There's nothing I could really make a feature on apart from getting close-up shots, so I've left that where it is and heading up. Gosh, I'm a bit out of breath, but yeah, heading up to my next location. We'll see what this place has got to offer further up. As soon as I stopped recording to the camera on that last piece, then I sort of stopped and just had a look down the river here, and I've just spotted this view. I'll show you now on camera, but yeah, this place is just full of these sort of little locations, And the beauty is we're starting to get a little bit of yellow in the trees, and I think in another couple of weeks this place will be even better if that's possible. It's just glorious, absolutely glorious. Right, I'm going to take a few images of this, and yeah, I'll show you what I've got. So just in the distance, I can see the massive waterfall where I finished on my last vlog here. I'm going to carry on a little bit further, but instead of going towards that waterfall now, I'm going to turn left instead of right, and hopefully there should be another waterfall there. See, this time I've done a little bit of research, and yeah, I'm not winging it this time. It's all about being prepared, you know. So the last vlog I did was from here, and I brought the mountain bike, and although this place is purpose built for mountain biking, well, not purpose built, they've adapted it for mountain biking, and fantastic to ride around when you're carrying all the gear, all the camera gear, the tripods, you guys, the microphones, things like that. It was just a little bit too difficult to sort of wrap everything up, get it all back on my back, and then cycle off again to the next location. And I also found that I was missing a lot of things. Today, walking through, I managed to yeah, probably find a few more compositions, although this side is a little bit more difficult. I'm finding that because we're so elevated, we're a good 30-40 foot, I'm probably not exaggerating there, above the water level at the minute. We were shooting down, or I'm shooting down onto water all the time, so it's a very similar composition all the time, sort of just looking down. So I'm hoping to get something a little bit different the further we go along this path, and yeah, sort of slow down and have a look, and just work something else out once we get back down to sort of water level. But yeah, I'm just enjoying it so much. It's so great, and I thought I'd feel as if I was slowing myself down with using my old-fashioned legs and just walking, but yeah, there's so much to be had. I don't think you will. It's just phenomenal. I can't believe this place. It's purpose built. It's purpose built for photographers. That's all I can say. Wow. The audio is probably going to be terrible because of the rush of the water. I can't really explain how loud it is and how powerful it is. Yes, it looks powerful on camera, but my gosh, being stood here, you feel the blast, actually the air blasting his back. As I said earlier, we've obviously had a lot of rainfall, and that's, yeah, it's obviously showing on here. So yeah, I'm just taking a few images now, still bracketing the images. I'm exposing for the highlights. So obviously that water that's coming off the waterfall is very white, very bright, and we've got a bit of sun that's coming down onto it as well. So I'm trying to just expose for the highlights. I'm trying to get it down as low as I can to just try and get a bit of blur in that image. I don't want it too much, I don't want it over a second, but just enough to sort of soften the water down a little bit. And yeah, I'm currently 1/8 of a second, f/13, ISO 64 with the polarizer spun all the way around. So yeah, we'll see what these images turn out like. And to top it all off, you won't believe how close it is to where I finished last time on my last vlog. It's probably less than 200 yards away, and yeah, a little bit gutted I didn't find this out last week, but hey, I'm back here this week and thoroughly enjoyed it again. Right, time for some photography. So how good was that? That's one of those places I can return back to as many times as I can and probably find different compositions. There's a couple of other photographers that have pulled up now, so it's made it a little bit more difficult to sort of have the place myself. So I'm going to move on, and I'm in two minds now what to do. I think I'll stop, have something to eat, and yeah, work out a bit of a plan from there. There are worse places to have your lunch on a Monday afternoon. So this is where I ended up last week, just by this waterfall now. So yeah, I'm going to follow the path back around. Now on the way back I did notice a bridge that I cycled over, so yeah, I might be able to get something from there really. But yeah, we'll carry on and see what else we can come up with. So when I cycled over the top of that bridge last week, there was a couple of photographers here, and I've got to be honest, I'm not really sure what they were trying to work out in the composition. Certainly when you look around the rest of the area, they were just shooting on this, back towards this bridge. And yeah, there's a few bits and pieces to go at, but it just looks a little plain. So I'm going to try and work it myself, just sort of see if I can dig a little deeper and yeah, just sort of work out what they were trying to get. Certainly when you've got so much more beauty around the area, this seems a little bit mundane, but I'll work it, I'll try and have a go, and yeah, you never know. So I've tried as many variations of this shot as I can, and yeah, it's okay at best. Let me know what you think. I don't know, I don't really know what they were seeing. So before I forget, let me tell you about the not too distant future plans for this channel. So Sarah and myself have decided to book a holiday. Now this is, although it's going to be a holiday, I'm still going to take the camera gears, and you guys are going to come along with us. Aren't you lucky? So the plan is going to be to fly from Manchester to Venice, spend 2 days in Venice, and then hire a car, drive over towards a place called Ljubljana, which is the capital of Slovenia. Been there before, absolutely stunning place. 2 nights in Ljubljana, then up towards Lake Bled, and from Lake Bled, we'll also head into the Triglav National Park as well. Beautiful mountain area. You may have seen it on the latest Grand Tour, where Clarkson, May and Hammond drive through it, and actually I think they stay over in Lake Bled as well. And that was one of the reasons why we thought, yeah, let's go back. So I'm either going to possibly split that into 3 or 4 separate sort of smaller vlogs, sort of travel vlogs if you like, but with photography involved as well. So we actually fly out in less than 2 weeks, so I should be able to get another vlog in between now and then. But yeah, there will be a bit of a gap, but yeah, I think it'll be worth waiting for. Venice, although it's never been on the bucket list to go, it's one of those places now I've researched a bit more that, yeah, I cannot wait to get there. So if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing, because that way you won't miss that trip. So I'm actually not far away from where I'm going to be crossing the river and then heading back towards the car. I couldn't really get much more, if I'm honest. Again, you start getting elevated, so that's obviously why I missed it on the bike, because you're just so elevated along that path that shooting back on the river, you can't really get much, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to head back to one of the bridges that I shot, well, I featured in my my last vlog, and I'll do a couple of shots from here, try and work something a little bit different. And I always think it's beneficial when you come back to a location for a second time in a week, to come back and sort of revisit it. That way you don't have to take the normal shots, you can sort of take something a little bit different, sort of work different compositions, more of a risk really, I think. And in fact, the water's a lot more powerful than it was last time. Wow. But yeah, I'll set up base here for a little bit and try and work it a bit more. So I do feel that I'm coming towards the end of this afternoon hike. I've got to say again, it's been phenomenal here. Such a delightful place to walk around, and yeah, so much to discover. So I'm going to head back towards the car now, sort of focus on getting back to the car, and yeah, think about heading back. But got to say, I don't really want to. It's one of those places where it's actually quite difficult to leave. I'm sure there's a lot more to be had, but yeah, time's ticking on now. I could do with getting home, getting some tea, and yeah, relaxing for the evening. So yeah, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. Great to have you on board of the channel. Plus, you won't miss the details of the, or you won't miss the vlog from Venice and Slovenia and around the Triglav and stuff. That'll be worth sticking around for. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, no, I've done that bit. Leave a comment. Yeah, that's the next bit. Leave a comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what was your favourite image, and yeah, again, if you've been to this location, it'll be great to hear. So from North Wales, it's time to say goodbye. All the best. Take care. Next vlog out very, very soon. Bye bye now.